YouTubers. Last year, I made some videos about American politics, saying that the United States has a two-party system which is a cover for a 100-party system. I also said that America's biggest problem is that there's no limit to how much money a politician can receive. But I'm just looking here at the Political Compass website, and frankly I have nothing better to say than the US is fucked. Fucked, okay? Look at this. Look at this. What the fuck is wrong with this picture? I mean, I wasn't enthusiastic about Obama after he got elected, because I thought he did a few good things here, but mostly not so well, but he's better than the Republicans. But the Political Compass, whom I trust is impartial, does not have any political agenda, has raised a red flag. A big, fat, red flag. The US is fucked. It's not money in politics, it's fascism that is becoming America's problem. Fascism. Look at this. It's horrible. Here's what they say, right? This is a US election that defies logic and brings the nation closer towards a one-party state masquerading as a two-party state. And they go on. The Democratic incumbent has surrounded himself with conservative advisors and key figures, many from previous administrations and an unprecedented number from the Trilateral Commission. He also appointed a former Monsanto executive as senior advisor to the FDA. He has extended Bush tax cuts for the wealthy, presided over a spiraling rich-poor gap, and sacrificed further American jobs with recent free trade deals. Trade union rights have also eroded under his watch. He has expanded Bush defense spending, droned civilians, failed to close Guantanamo, supported the NDAA, which effectively legalizes martial law, allowed drilling, and adopted a soft-touch position towards the banks that is to the right of European conservative leaders. We list these because many of Obama's detractors absurdly portray him as either a radical liberal or a socialist, while his apologists equally absurdly continue to view him as a well-intentioned progressive, tragically thwarted by overwhelming pressures. 2008's "Yes We Can" chanters, dazzled by pigment rather than policy detail. I'm afraid I was one of those "Yes We Can" chanters, I am sorry to say. Rather than policy detail, forgot to ask, can what? Between 1998 and the last election, Obama amassed $37.6 million from the financial services industry, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. While 2008 presidential candidate, Obama appeared to champion universal health care. His first choice of Secretary of Health was a man who had spent years to champion universal health. Sorry, I apologize. I'm reading the same line over again. A man spent years lobbying on behalf of the pharmaceutical industry against that very concept. Hey, you don't promise a successful pub and then appoint the Salvation Army to run it. This time around, the honey-tongued president makes populist references to economic justice while simultaneously appointing his new chief of staff, a former Citigroup executive concerned with the hedge funds that bet on the housing market to collapse. Obama poses something of a challenge to the Political Compass because he's a man of so few fixed principles. As outrageous as it may appear, civil libertarians and human rights supporters would have actually fared better under a Republican administration. Had a Bush or McCain presidency continued Guantanamo and introduced the NDAA, the Democratic Party would have howled from the rooftops. Under a Democratic administration, these far-reaching developments have received scant opposition and a disgraceful absence of mainstream media coverage. Democratic and especially some Republican candidates will benefit massively from new legislation that permits them to receive unlimited and unaccountable funding. This means a significant shift of political power to the very moneyed interests that earlier elections tried to contain. Super PACs will inevitably reshape the Gingrich obligations towards reshape the, and then there's some space here. Some gap. Gingrich would feel no obligation toward his generous banker, Sheldon Adelson, one of the country's most influential men, or President Santorum towards billionaire mutual fund tycoon Foster Friess. Santorum emerges as the most authoritarian candidate, not the least for his extreme stand against abortion and condom sales. Or a President Paul, whose largest single donor, billionaire Peter Thiel, founded a controversial defense company contracting to the CIA and the FBI. Last year it was caught operating an illegal spy ring targeting opponents of the US Chamber of Commerce. In our opinion, Romney, despite his consistent contempt for the impoverished, is correctly described as the wealthier, vain candidate. He shares another similarity with Obama. His corporate-friendly healthcare plan for Massachusetts was strikingly similar to the president's compromise package. The emergence of the Tea Party enables an increasingly extreme GOP to present itself as middle of the road between an ultra-right movement with some good ideas that might go a bit too far, and on the other side, a dangerous socialist president. Socialist president. Since FDR, the mainstream American left has been much more concerned with the social rather than the economic agenda. Identity politics, issues like peace, immigration, gay and women's rights, prayers in school have been of greater importance than matters like a minimum living wage. It is therefore understandable that many of them speak warmly about the most right-wing of all the Republican contenders, Ron Paul. Paul is an extraordinary figure in the most extraordinary election. At 76, the sprightly, soft-spoken congressman commands enormous youth enthusiasm and supports across the spectrum, from Ralph Nader to John Birch to the John Birch Society. Nader, who has spent decades campaigning for greater regulation of corporations, has somehow put his lot with the most deregulatory of all the candidates. Many liberals appreciate Paul for his promise to bring troops home, slash the defense budget, among other things, his principled opposition to the NDAA, the harsh social Darwinism of Paul's core beliefs, however, appear to be of relatively little importance to such progressives. Similarly, his opposition to abortion and his support for creationism, which have endeared him to the Christian coalition. Paul, the only conviction politician among them, no doubt enjoys a wider support base than the primary results suggest. A's, the front-running three, continue to bruise each other, shadow boxing. He might yet emerge as the last man standing at the convention. As president, Paul could be expected to reach widely beyond the Republicans in his appointments, further blurring party distinctions. While the liberal aspects of Paul's social policies are an anathema to neocons, he remains the Republicans' best hope of achieving the presidency. That's it. Obama's going to win, according to this, unless Ron Paul is the nominee. Under a second term of Obama, however, the GOP can remain confident that it will continue to frame the debates. Please note that the leaders of smaller parties will be included in the forthcoming presidential campaign chart. This chart may alter if new policy positions emerge during the campaign. For further information to the chart, please see our frequently asked questions, especially these ones. Fuck. Okay? Fuck. It's a sad day when someone like me, a progressive, a social democrat like me, has to support Ron Paul, this uber neoliberal, to keep the social justice alive, but no economic justice. Neoliberalism Is that the only thing American politicians promote? And Santorum is dangerously close on the authoritarian vertical scale to Adolf Hitler. What is wrong with this picture? The United States as we know it no longer exists. Fuck, alright? If the Soviet Union was a one-party left-wing state, the US is a one-party right-wing state. Communist state, capitalist state, where capitalism is unquestionably the only way. Neoliberalism is the only way. Just like in the Soviet Union, communism was the only way. Okay? Fuck. The US is fucked. I thought the Netherlands had problems with that fascist Geert Wilders. I thought Indonesia, with all our corrupt politicians and Islamic fundamentalists, I thought we had the worst problems. Apparently the US is no friggin' better. No fucking better. I'm ranting right now because I don't understand this. What is the matter with you stupid Americans? Please. The reason why the Republicans have become more and more authoritarian and right-wing is because they want to beat Obama to the upper right corner. They want to beat him to it. And Obama thinks, oh, if I pander a little bit more to the right, I'll get some more votes. If I pander a little bit more to the right wing and the social conservatives, I'll get more votes. No! You have to pull left in order to pull the in order to win votes and keep the Republicans moderately center-right. Not push more and more right and then pushing them right wing. If Obama became pushed more to the left, to the progressive, to the more socially libertarian, socially liberal, became more socially liberal and more economically social democratic and left wing, that would pull the Republicans to a little bit towards the left, to more towards the center. That's how it should work. But look what Obama has done. He has unwittingly turned the United States into a fascist state. All of them. They're all to the right of Hitler on economic issues, so all of these presidential candidates are General Pinochets. All of them are right-wing dictators. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with American politics? I thought Indonesia and the Netherlands had our problems. Had enough problems already. America, it turns out, had worse. So thank you for making me feel better about the Netherlands and Indonesia. Thank you very much for that.